and welcome back to my channel, Welsh and Reviews. I'm Gareth, and today on Horror Friday, I'm giving my top 10 horrors from 2024. So this has been a plentiful year it was for horror movies. So many, I think in quality and all that, it outdid most of the other movies, genres this year as well. I got a few honourable mentions before I get into my top 10. I didn't quite make it into my top 10, but I did enjoy these. Maxine just wasn't as great as what I expected it to be honest, but missed out a little bit. In a Violent Night as well. Loved the concept of it. I don't think it's going to be a multiple watch type of movie. It was good the first time you watch it, but it does kind of repeat, especially when you're just watching the killer walk for quite a bit. But still, some good kills and a nice little story to it as well. I saw The Glow. Not going to be one for everyone. Kind of a slow burn, kind of a sci-fi horror type one, that is. Cuckoo is a very good movie as well. Just missed out on my top 10. Watched that and all that. One of my recent watches, that is. But as Dan Stevens plays a brilliant role in it as well. An interesting story to it as well, to be honest. So I enjoyed that. A Quiet Place Day One. So this is the prequel of the first Day One. As much as I did enjoy this movie, it's not exactly... the only thing different about it is pretty much being in... I was going to say New York. But is it in New York? Might be, actually. I can't really remember. But being in a city. But it doesn't really do anything about the aliens and stuff like that. It doesn't really do anything much explanation about them. The Last Omen as well. I do have another one that came out around the same time in my top 10 for that as well. But I enjoyed The Last Omen. I thought it was good. I wasn't the biggest fan of the third act. I wasn't, and how it kind of changes things to get going into the Omen. It wasn't, but overall still a very good movie indeed. And probably Terrifier 3 is going to be the main one that didn't quite make it into the top 10. I did enjoy this movie thoroughly. I thought it was entertaining, funny as well. But the stories and the acting in the films I got in my top 10 just outweigh Terrifier 3. So we will go straight in at number 10, and that is Alien Romulus. So I know this is probably higher up in a lot of people's lists. I really enjoyed the movie. I did, don't get me wrong. The third act, I wasn't very favoured on the third act. Seems it was more of a blend of a few of the Alien movies, especially Alien Resurrection as well. But I did like the first three quarters of this movie. I thought it was a very well made movie and loved all the practical effects they did in this, which was pretty much the majority of them. Loads of practical effects for the aliens and stuff like that. So very good indeed. Very well directed by Fede Alvarez coming into this. He does know how to do things. Reboot kind of franchise. He did it with the Evil Dead as well. Kaylee Spaney, if I pronounced that wrong, apologies. Brilliant in this movie, as is David Johnson. She's done a lot of good things this year. She was in my favourite movie overall this year of 2024, Civil War. So a very bright future for her. But yeah, overall, really good movie. Coming in at number 9, and I think it's a Shudder release this was, and that is Oddity. Very strange little movie about a woman whose twin sister dies, and she's trying to find out. She's a bit of a psychic or something like that, she is. And then she brings a golem to her sister's husband's house, and that he's now shacked up with a new bird and stuff like that it is. And not very creepy movie it is, especially the death of her twin sister. The main character's twin sister is very... I don't see a lot, but it is very creepy, and it is... But yeah, very directed by Damien McCarthy, is it? I think, and starring Carolyn Bracken. It is, who's very well acted, and yeah, kind of a confined movie as well. Kind of really just takes place in one house, really, but it does go back and forth in a couple of other places as well. So coming in number 8, and that is Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney. So this was the other one that came out around I think just before The Last Omen, and I think The Last Omen came out after this. I just prefer this one overall. I prefer the story of Sydney Sweeney's character wanting to become a nun, going to an Italian convent, and then she miraculously gets pregnant, and then you think it's like the whole Jesus thing over again, but there's a lot darker things at large in the movie, and the ending is really crazy as well, which I really didn't see coming, to be honest. But yeah, very good movie indeed, Immaculate, and I recommend seeing that one. It is coming in at number 7 as well. Is one of a latest one. Heard about this movie loads of times during the year. It is, and it's on a lot of people's lists as well. Never read up on it, to be honest, the story and all that. So it was a very nice surprise when I went into it, and it had a very nice twist that I really didn't see coming, to be honest. And that is Strange Darling. So it does star Kyla Gallner, who's been in a few things, Scream 5, a few other horrors as well. And I think he was in Smile as well, and the beginning of Smile 2. So he's become, again, very good in the horror genre as well. And Willa Fitzgerald as well is the thing. Them two are absolutely brilliant together in this movie. Very good chemistry. And she kind of really steals the show in this movie and all that. Kind of a cat and mouse thing with serial killer and that. It is, but not very good movie indeed. And yeah, very happy I watched it before the end of the year. So the next one at number 6 is kind of I've got 2 in this list, which were kind of the big surprises for me for this year. I really didn't think they'd be that good after watching the trailer. I thought, they kind of look mediocre type of things. But after watching them, it was they were very, very good movies. And the first one is at number 6, Blink Twice. So this is directed by Zoe Kravitz, who played Catwoman in The Batman, but is the daughter to Lenny Kravitz as well. Stars Channing Tatum and Naomi Aki, if I'm not mistaken. Very good thing, like a bit of a Epstein Island type of story, to be honest, about a billionaire who did something wrong, went away, and he's trying to be better. But he invites this woman and her friends and other people to his island, but there's very much darker things involved in it. And yeah, very creepy, not creepy, but very like gut-wrenching, and very creepy is the only word I can really think of right now. But you don't see a lot of what happens to these people, but the implication is there. And you don't see a lot, but you see enough to really turn you, to be honest. But yeah, very, very pleasant surprise for this year. We come in at number 5, and it's probably one of the funnest horror movies I've watched this year, and that is Abigail. So it is directed by Bat Batelli and Tyler Gillett, who directed Scream 6, Scream 5, and Ready or Not. It does star Melissa Barrera, who is in that as well, and Dan Stevens as well, who put in another great performance in this movie. Such a fun take on the vampire story as well, like the daughter of Dracula, supposedly. It is, and yeah, trapped in all these criminals, kind of, who kidnapped her, trapped in the house with her and that. Very funny, very gory, loads of blood in this movie. And the acting in this, it's not just them two, there are countless other great actors in this movie as well, and they all put in a very good show to be a very entertaining movie. A pity it didn't make more in the cinema. I think it deserved better than what it got. But yeah, up there as one of my favourites of the year. In number 4, we have Smile 2. So Smile, the first one, I think came out a couple of years ago, was probably my favourite movie of 2022, I think, when it came out. It is. I really loved it. This one, I would put it on a par with Smile. Parker Finn does another great job directing this. I think he's elevated a little bit in this movie, his direction. It does star Naomi Scott as well, and Ray Nicholson or something like that it is. But Naomi Scott is the main star of this movie, and she is absolutely magnificent. Probably puts in probably one of my favourite performances by an actor this year in this movie. I would love to see her be nominated for a couple of awards. Doubt that she'll ever get an Oscar nomination for this, unfortunately, seeing this a horror movie. But I hopefully see a few nominations for her, because she was outstanding in this movie. And Kyle Gallner is also in this movie, as I said earlier, in the beginning part as well, which is probably the best part of the movie, is that opening scene. But overall, brilliant. Weren't too fussed on the ending, but the ending does open up a possibility of a grander third movie. So looking forward to that one. So we come into number 3 now, and this is probably the second out of, probably looking at it now, 3 movies actually, which really surprised me this year, and that is Heretic. So this does star Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. Very much a nice little take on religion, and that seems I love the concept of the religious and stuff like that. Being an atheist myself, I don't believe in any of that, but I do love the stories and that. And Hugh Grant absolutely plays not so much a menacing character in this, but his presence in it is brilliant. The women do a brilliant job in this movie as well, but it was a really good surprise and really got me gripped into the movie about all the religious and that, and about how religions is kind of all copied with other things of that. Most religions are copied from other religions and mashed together and stuff like that. But Hugh Grant has a great monologue type thing, kind of probably on midway through the movie, where he talks about stuff like that with the girls. But yeah, an amazing movie, which I was very thoroughly surprised with. So that comes in at number 3. Coming in number 2, and it was such a close call between 1 and 2 of what I was going to put first, but I stuck to my guns with what I put in number 1, and number 2 was the other one that really surprised me. Didn't really see much in the trailers, but it really a bang for your buck the movie was, and that is The Substance. So it is directed by Carolee Farguet. If I butchered the name, unfortunately, I apologise. But she also directed a movie, I think, a few years ago called Revenge, which is another great movie as well, which you should watch. And it stars Debbie Moore and Margaret Qualley, who's been in a few movies lately this year as well. It is, and also stars Dennis Quaid. Nearly forgot his name there. Brilliant movie about pretty much an older lady in the entertainment business who kind of gets pushed to one side, and she gets nominated or thing for getting a substance which pretty much brings out a younger version of herself or personality in that from her body, but not like makes her younger and all, literally comes out of her body, out of her back. But it's a little thing of they can only live 7 days at a time. So anytime it's a bit longer, something will happen to the other person's body and all that. But very, very good movie. This one is an absolute batshit crazy ending, which I really didn't see coming. Really turned into like a David Cronenberg body horror type movie right at the end of that. But all these actors, Dennis Quaid, the older actors in this, Dennis Quaid, but especially Demi Moore, absolutely magnificent in this. I really hope she gets a good Oscar nomination for this role, because she was magnificent in this. And to be honest, this has been the year of older actors from the 80s and all coming back and doing a bit more. Pamela Anderson's got one coming out now next year. Supposedly she's getting lauded over that. The Last Showgirl or something like that it's called. But yeah, seeing a lot of the older actors coming back and putting in some stellar performance, saying they still got it at the end of the day. And it was great to see Demi Moore back in full swing in this movie. But yeah, Substance, brilliant movie. Definitely recommend it. And then we come in at number 1, and this has pretty much been my favourite horror all year. Came out pretty much early in the year, it did, and it hasn't changed to this. I've watched it a few times, love every second of it, and that is Late Night with the Devil. Directed by Colin and Cameron, is it? Canas? It is, apologies about both. Kind of an Australian made movie, to be honest, and starring David. Oh, he's got a flipping weird last name as well. I can't. Distolchan. If I butchered that again, I really do apologise. I do, but absolutely love this movie. Takes place during a 70s late night talk show where ratings haven't been great, so they try and spruce things up with a Halloween special one, bring in a couple of guests and that, but things don't go right, and then you see some secrets about the main talk show host and stuff like that. And yeah, another film that just ends really batshit crazy as well, similar to The Substance and other ones this year. It is, but I love this movie. Very well acted, brilliantly directed as well. Yes, they do use AI in it, but I hear they don't use it that much in this movie. So, but I think AI is going to come into a lot of play these days, especially with future films. It is, but I don't let that change my opinion of this movie. I still think it's the best horror of the years. It is. So that's my top 10 of horrors of 2024. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. It does help the channel. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what your favourite horrors was of this year. It is. I like to see if there was some different ones in that as well. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.